Glizzy, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your urge just hypnotize me. See, I was gonna do the bada boom thing, but then that just came to me, so we're just gonna rock with it. That's a good song, right? Glizzy, glizzy, glizzy. Anyway, today we are talking 5 highest mileage shoes, best shoes for high mileage training, the shoes that I have enjoyed the most in my training over the past year. There's some that I haven't enjoyed the most, but that I've just logged the most number of miles in. Now, if you are looking for a new shoe to support your training, to take your training to the next level, make sure you're on the Supwell app. It's my app. I'm usually wearing a Supwell shirt. Today I'm actually wearing, you want to see what I'm wearing? I'm wearing the Larry June merch. It's crazy because I have so much merch that I test for myself and the stuff we do here. I have more merch that I'm testing for the summer collection, but I still buy t-shirts from the people that I support. I bought some shirts from my guy Chris J. I bought this Larry June shirt because I like supporting those artists. Anyway, make sure you're on the Supwell app if you're looking for a new shoe. It's the best buy, sell, and trade marketplace out there. It's also the best hobby jogger community out there. And this is what I've realized, man. We are drowning in data. Everyone is tracking their heart rate, their cadence, their sleep, their number of lattes they consume. There's tracking this, tracking that. We don't need more data. We need more connection and community. That's one of the benefits of the Supwell app. So if you're looking for a new place to support your getting after it, the Supwell app is the place to be. And we have the best deals on running shoes. You can find used Glizzy Max, Mag Max, all those great Max Cushion Gang shoes for $100 or less a lot of the time. So join the app and enjoy today's video. All right, bang, recovery run in the books. Short 4-piece this morning. I'm on a down week. This week I got hit with the flu or some sort of shenanigans like that on Sunday. So I took a few days off, or I took one day off and cutting the mileage down, giving my body a chance to recover this week. 4 miles, 8:02 pace, 34 minutes. And I thought it would be fun today to switch it up and do a look back, a retrospective, as my friend Barrett would call it. You guys know Barrett. He's Supwell brand design. He's who created the beautiful typeface that you see plastered everywhere. I'll throw it up right now. At Supwell Running. He's the one who helps create a lot of the Instagram posts. And he actually ideated, executed, and wrote the entire Endorphin Speedline retrospective, which was great. So shout out Barrett, putting in work. But I want to do a retrospective on some of my favorite training shoes of the past year. And I'm probably not going to title this video my favorite training shoes of the past year. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But I always say I vote with my miles. So the way that this list is going to be determined, TBD, what the title is. You know what TBD means? It means to be determined. TBD what the title of this list is. But the way we're going to do it is based on the highest mileage shoes of the past year. This is number 1 right here. The El Jefe Big Boss, the Bouncy AF Puma Mag Max. This thing is a ferocious beast. That's what AF stands for. Always ferocious, animated, and fierce. A flu. I don't even know what that means. This thing is a tank, man. You got the thick rubber coverage, Puma grip. It was actually starting to drizzle out here. I don't know if you saw that as we were running there, starting to drizzle. So we got the good grip, really wide base, a lot of foam. And I was going 8:02 pace. This is something we've identified with this shoe. It doesn't actually have the most balance or most assistance at these slower recovery paces for some people. There's an optimal zone where if you're over a certain size, I know a lot of my 200 plus friends on the Supwell app love this for any pace, but for me at 160 and a lot of us who are under 200, 180, it's better. Like my friend Grant, by the way, who is another Supwell team member on Supwell social media. Let's throw up the Supwell Instagram handle again. But my friend Grant, he likes this similar to me for faster daily miles, and he feels that he's more efficient in it for not faster daily, but more of everyday zone. Versus today, this was true recovery zone for me at an 8-minute pace. Anything slower than a 7:30 or bang, we are down here on the street listening to Uncle Larry because it's a recovery day. We got to keep it peaceful. Camera died when we were up there. Let me finish talking about the Mag Max and we can go through the rest of the list. This is a great shoe. I've waxed poetic about it. That's why I'm not going to tell you where it slots in on this list, but one of my highest mileage shoes. It does have a zone where it feels best, and for me, it's anything faster than a 7:30. Reason is, this foam is slightly on the firmer side when it comes to a soft max cushion shoe. It's not soft at all. It's right in that Goldilocks zone. So I really enjoy it when I'm picking up the pace slightly. Definitely not a speed shoe, but not a recovery shoe for me either. But the majority of miles are, for me, between 7:30 and 6:40. And for that, this crushes it. So I've always had a hard time categorizing it. Is it a daily trainer? Is it a max cushion shoe? But regardless of what it is a banger and a completely enjoyable shoe to run in. If you do get it, make sure to give 20 to 30 miles for it to break in. All right, let's go through the rest of this list here today. I did a note on my phone with all of the 5 highest mileage shoes. We can go from the lowest to the highest. Let's start with number 5. 5th highest mileage shoe of the past year. I don't know if anyone's going to be surprised. This is the OG Max Cushion Gang beloved shoe. One of my favorite shoes of all time. This would definitely be on my top 5 favorite shoes of all time list. I don't even know if the Mag Max would make that list. And the thing is, I love the Mag Max. It's awesome. It's so fun. But this just has a special quality to it that puts a smile on my face. Mag Max is more of a workhorse. This has a bouncier, just unbridled joy character to it. So 131 miles. I didn't even do anything crazy with it, like a 100-mile week or try to do any challenges to get miles. I just racked it up and eventually got to 100, and then I've come back and run it a few times since. I haven't pulled it back into my main training rotation, and again, it's hard for me to get a lot of miles on things, so you are going to see most of these shoes are between 100 and 200 miles because I'll get shoes, or I used to more in 2024, try to get all the shoes I liked up to 100. Now, I do reviews by vibes. I run in a shoe until I get a good sense of it, whether that's 30 miles, 60 miles, 70 miles, or sometimes it's just one run. If I know it's not for me and it's not a good shoe, like the Glycerin 22 or the Cloudsurfer 2, and I'll say, I'm not running this anymore. But most of the time, I'll put 4, 5, 6, 7 runs on a shoe, use it in my training like I did with the Vomero 18 and the Nimbus 27, and once I have my fully formed take on it and I understand how it's going to work both for me and for other people, then I'll do the full, I don't even call it a full review, but I'll do the take. So that means I don't get everything up to 100. But last year I got a lot of shoes up to 100-mile review and then stack some more miles. This thing is great because you get a huge stack of foam and it's max cushion, but similar to the Mag Max, it's a hard to classify shoe. Both of these are unicorns. You know what a unicorn is? The Kristaps. Or who's the original unicorn? Was Tim Duncan the original unicorn? In the NBA, a unicorn is a tall player who can dribble, who can score, who can shoot. KD is a unicorn. This is a unicorn because it's a tall shoe that's not slow. It's bouncy. It can actually pick up the pace for me down almost to marathon pace. It's not lightweight, but the protection is incredible. And I was out here yesterday waxing poetic about the Rocket X2. I wax poetic a lot about shoes. I was actually breaking out earlier today because I'm doing an analysis of, it's not important, but I was breaking out what I talk about on this channel. I think 70% of it is shoes. Probably 70% shoes, 20% my training, 10% miscellaneous shenanigans. So that's 70% of poetic waxing. This thing is great because you get a lot of foam, you get a lot of stack, but it's not soft and mushy. I don't always love super tall, soft foams. There's no fighting against the foam here. Super easy to run in, great rocker. 2 very similar shoes, the Mag Max and the Skyward X, which is why they're both on this list. And for me, as a higher mileage runner, I like these shoes that are easy and fun to run in. Again, the majority of my miles are between 640 and 730, or maybe even between, I would say 80% of my miles are between a 7:10 pace and a 50 pace. So whatever feels fun and easy to run in for those paces that's what I'm pulling, and that's what I'm running in. So this is one of those shoes. It's best for people who want something bouncy. It's a great long run shoe if you don't mind weight. Certain runners are more sensitive to weight. Also, if you can put power down into this shoe and you want something that's going to bounce you along, this is going to be great. I would not advise it as a recovery shoe, even if you are a bigger runner or a more powerful runner who's going to get that bounce. The Mag Max is going to feel more natural for most people for recovery paces. The geometry is less aggressive. This does have, this surprising thing about the Skyward X, it does have an almost aggressive geometry here where you land, it just encourages a more midfoot to forefoot land, and it's best when you can catch that rocker in the midfoot and just let the shoe take you. So complete banger, Hoka Skyward X, number 5 on the list. It would be much higher on the list if I just pulled it back into the rotation and used it whenever I wanted to. All right, next shoe, number 4. You're gonna start to see a trend here. Brooks Glizzy, the good old Brooks Glycerin Max, 134 miles, another Super Max Stack shoe, another Max Cushion Gang shoe. You can see a lot of these higher mileage shoes are the ones with the cushion and the support that I like. So difference between this and the other two shoes, for me, this is a more comfort oriented shoe. This is a shoe that works really well for my recovery paces, but again, it's not too soft and mushy and squishy. There's a great rocker on it. It actually has a dual density foam, so the back is softer than the front, which means when you're landing on the back here, you get some good cushion, good for heel striking, and then in the front, when you want to pick up the pace, it's surprisingly capable of doing that as well. So I've never tried to do a workout in this shoe. I wouldn't really advise it. It's good. You can run a marathon in it if your goal is purely to finish in comfort. It's excellent for that. I think the longest I've taken this is up to, I want to say 12 miles. I don't think I've taken it up past that. For me, it's not going to be a super long run shoe because most of the time when I'm going 20 miles, I'm throwing marathon pace in there, or I just want something lighter on foot so I can scoot along. But if you just want comfort, this is one of the best shoes out there. It took everything that I loved about the last generation of Max Cushion shoes, the more of the premium daily trainers like the Gel Nimbus 25 and the New Balance 1080 V13, and it amped it up to the max. More cushion, more padding in the upper, stack height comes in above 40 millimeters, and a next generation race foam. This thing is a complete banger. So number 3 on the list, or number 4 on the list, Glizzy Max, 131 miles. Okay, we got the red spiders again everywhere. Gosh, can't put shoes up here in the spring. All right, number 3. I keep getting confused because the Mag Max, we talked about it, but I didn't tell you where it came in yet. Number 3, you might be surprised about this one. 151 miles, Asics Super Plast 2. This is not one of my favorite shoes, but it is a shoe that I've put a lot of miles on because if you ever tell anybody who likes this shoe that you don't like it, they'll tell you need to put more miles on it. So I've continued to run in it, and you know I don't, if you've ever watched this channel, you know I don't like this shoe. I'm not gonna do a whole song and a dance about it. But I did have some okay miles in it over the one period where I thought it was fine was December, January, over Christmas break. I got this October or September last year, ran it a few times, then I pulled it back out over the holidays. When I was running a lot with Reevesy and the stroller, it was fine for that because you get a lot of stack. Similar to these other shoes that I've pulled out, you get a lot of stack, you get a lot of protection. Where it falls flat for me is, well, literally it feels flat. I don't get the most bounce out of it. I'm not sure why. It seems, well, I actually am sure why. It's a very rigid, stiff platform. It is, look at this. Look at this. It's so stiff. I can't activate it at all at my everyday relaxed paces. And if I'm running a workout, so yesterday I did a 2x3 mile marathon pace workout in the Hoka Rocket X2. I always pull for a carbon plated shoe, a race shoe at those paces. I'm going to run race pace in a race shoe on race day. I'm going to do it in training. I'm not going to be running 530s and 540s in the Super Blast. And it doesn't even feel that capable, or that, not that it's not capable. You can run fast in any shoe. You could run that in Tim's if you wanted, but it doesn't feel natural to me at those paces. There's just no pace really for me at my size is where this feels good. But the reason I put so many miles on it is because people are interested in this shoe. People like this shoe. People keep telling me to test it, give it more chances. So I did give it more chances. It's up past 150 miles. Still not the biggest fan of it. It's fine as a firmer daily trainer. For me, if I ever want something firm and stable, I know I can go to this. And sometimes I do just want something firm and stable. It is very reliable for that. But the heel just gets in the way for me. It's too bulky. It feels like overkill. And it's weird because, again, you saw the other 3 shoes that I just pulled out. They're all Max Stack. But something about them, the Glycerin Max, this has a lower drop, smoother heel. Skyward X, same thing, lower drop, smoother heel. And then with the Mag Max, this heel just, it doesn't get in the way for me the same way that the Super Blast 2 does. So for me, not a shoe that I enjoy the most, but I did put 150 miles on it, so shout out to it for that. And it's in incredible shape, not just cosmetic, and that's mostly because I run on a clean area here, but the outsole and everything is in good shape too at 150 miles. So it's definitely one of the most durable shoes out there. The foam is not going to compress too much. We gosh dang know that. There's basically no break-in lines at all on this thing. I mean, if you told somebody that I put 10 miles on this or 5 miles, that this was one run worth of wear, they would believe you. So holds up really well. If you do like this shoe and you're the type of runner who actually wants a 1 or 2 shoe or 3 shoe rotation, this would be great. It's just ironic to me because some of the people who love this also have 8 pairs of it, like my guy Donnie Howard. Isn't the whole point of this that it's supposed to be great and you can use it for everything, and yet we have Super Blast Cabal members stacking them up? I don't understand it. Shout out to Donnie Howard putting in work. All right, so that was number 3. Number 2 is the Puma Mag Max. It is not number 1. Well, it's kind of number 1 and it's not number 1 at the same time. So number 2, Puma Mag Max. I already talked about it. This is my highest mileage training shoe though, because the one that I'm about to pull out is a race shoe. So again, I'll just sum up why this is my highest mileage training shoe, which I did not talk about. Stability, support, comfort, and ease of use. That's why. There were so many times over the winter, over the fall, where I wasn't testing anything, I didn't know what to pull for, so I just defaulted to this. And with the number of shoes I have, I can have decision fatigue, so it's nice to just have something. And that was why I used to like doing all those 100-mile reviews, because I would say, okay, this week I'm getting the Nimbus to 100, next week I'm getting the 1080 to 100, so I'll just run in the Nimbus for all my recovery, I'll run the 1080 for all my day. So when I'm not doing that, I do have 1 or 2 shoes. Recently I've been running, just defaulting to the Vomero if I don't know what to run in. And this morning, I went back to this thing. And maybe I'll do a 200-mile review at some point. But the comfort, the ease of use, the support, that's what I want in a daily shoe. There are different periods and different times of training where I want other things, but over the past year, my trailing, if you look at the last 12 months of training, it would be 5,000 miles. I've maintained my mileage at 100 miles per week, so if you look at that rolling average, it's 5,000 miles. That's a lot of mileage. That's a lot of getting out here, pounding the pavement. I want cushion. I want support. I want comfort for that. This has it. And if you compare it to all these other shoes here in the category, what it has going for it versus everything else is, ew. That was unfortunate. What it has going for it versus everything else, it's the most normal feeling. Glycerin Max, this one feels like a softer max cushioned, almost recovery shoe for me. Skyward X, it feels like a bouncy, bordering on race shoe, even though it has weight. It almost feels like a Primex Strung. There's a trampoline strapped to your foot. I'm not going to use that as my default shoe. Super Blast, I talked about this. This is a really good default for a lot of people. For me, it just feels too firm and not smooth enough to be a default. I did default to it for some time so I could get it up to 100 miles, but I prefer this thing. There's very little wrong with it when it comes to being that default daily choice. So that's why it's my highest mileage training shoe, and it's held up really well. Again, like the Super Blast, you can see there's some just flatness on the rubber, but hold on. It's just hard out here in the cloud cover in the spring comes in and out. But yeah, there's some flatness on the rubber, but it's still a very thick layer. not worn down at all. Midfoot is and forefoot rubber is still holding up really well, and then upper is in good shape. And I also wipe my shoes down whenever they get dirty, so in general it's in really good shape. You can see in the midfoot here there are some starting to get some crinkle lines, and it is losing some of that rigidity. So this will probably be retired around 300 miles for most people. You could take it up past that. I'm not gonna do that. I'll get it up to 200, make a farewell on it. But shout out to the Mag Max, highest mileage training shoe. All right, before we go to my highest mileage shoe of the past year, I want to give a bonus. This is the bonus. New Balance Rebel V4. Now, you probably weren't surprised to see any of those other shoes. You might have been kind of surprised about the Super Blast, but I have covered it a lot, and you've seen me put a lot of miles on it, so not that surprised. I bet you're surprised about this one. This has over 150 miles. Not just this pair. I got the Action Bronson pair as well, and I put 10 to 12 miles on that, and it actually kind of hurt my calf and then my toe because it fit shorter than this, which was weird. Anyway, why is this on the 100-mile list and not on the list? It's on the list because I did a 100-mile week in it, and then I thought, hey, should I get it up to 200, do a 200-mile review? That was before I tested all these shoes. So I put some miles on it, decided not to do it. The other reason is because this is another one of those shoes that for a time was a default for me, and it is a default type of daily trainer. So you can see this versus the other type of shoes we have here. There are a few different types of daily trainers, and these exist on opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Crisscross. You have the lightweight, lean, lower stacked speed machine type of daily, and then you have the super max stack, beefy max cushion gang beast. So polar ends, opposite ends of the spectrum here. Both good options for daily shoes. I just prefer to do more of my miles in the Mag Max these days. I'll run in this shoe or a shoe like this a few times a month when I'm testing one of the new ones to hit the market. They're not my absolute favorite, and with my style of training, I do a more polarized style of training, so I'm either running at a 7:10 to 8:10 pace for daily and recovery, or I'm trying to get down to 5:40 and faster for my marathon and race paces. So I'm not doing a whole lot between 5:40 and 7 flat, which is where a shoe like this would be best. That's the faster daily miles to steady to what some people might call a tempo zone if you're running your tempos slower than your marathon pace. Or for some people, a tempo would be, and this is where it gets complicated as we get faster, because if you're running a 3:30 marathon, a tempo is going to be less taxing on your body at marathon pace than if you're running a 2:30 marathon, because that percentage of maximal speed is much higher at marathon pace. So I like running all my hard workouts in the plated shoes, in the Real Deal race shoes. I don't have as much of a use case for this type of a shoe right now. If I go back to a fundamental period of training or a base building period of training where I'm doing a lot of hill work and sprints, that sort of style of session, this would be a good choice for that. It's also a nice choice if you just want one simple shoe to run a few times a week, go to the gym, walk around the neighborhood, and you like a lower profile shoe. So New Balance Rebel V4. The reason it's not in the official list is it's over a year old, and I haven't put a whole lot of miles on it in the actual past year, but I did see it pop up on the Strava, so that's why I wanted to give it an honorable mention here. All right, trapping in the dark, or should I say apping in the dark, or should I say yapping in the dark? I was thinking, because I want to build eventually, I didn't talk to Charlie about this yet, and I know she's going to come up to me 3 days from now in the kitchen. Oh, so you want to build something in the backyard? I want to build a content studio / office outpost in the backyard, and I want to call it the Supwell App House. But maybe I should call it the Supwell Yap House. Nike Alphafly 3. I realized this morning I have over 200 miles on the Alphafly 3s, and this is another one that, like the Rebel V4 came out over a year ago, but I've just put so many miles on it within the past calendar year, so I'm including it here, and I just got that brand new pair. So I put 37 miles already on that brand new pair because I did a 38 miles, 17 mile workout out of the box, and then a 21 mile long run. And stacking those big workouts, that's a great way to accumulate a lot of miles on a shoe right away. And then with this one, I got it up to, I did the 250 kilometer review, so that's 160 something miles, and I think I did another run in it after that. So that's 160-ish miles plus the 38. I think it was 165 miles plus the 38. So we're over 200 miles now in the Alphafly 3. The reason this is on the list, remember, polarized training. That's what I was talking about, right? I'm either mashing daily in the Mag Max, or I'm slamming the gas in the Alphafly. This is really a great representation. 1 and 2. You gotta have the bada boom, you gotta have the bada bang. Comfort, support, fun for the everyday miles. Also really great for recovery miles if you're jogging along. For a lot of people, I don't run a lot of super slow miles like this morning. I'm really not running 8-minute paces very often. That's the one area I mentioned where the Mag Max doesn't feel great. But then when we're really ripping, getting down to 550s and faster, or let's just say 6 flats and faster, which was my last marathon pace, 6:04, this thing is awesome. It is a beast for me at marathon pace, and it also has this bounce, this cushion, so the air zoom unit up here, it has this quality to it that it feels very floaty. And that's something I thought about the Pegasus Premium too, and I know that's a divisive shoe. My guy Jog on Krago, he did not like it. He called it a run club shoe. I loved it for delivering the same floaty, above the ground, disconnected ride feel that I get in the Alphafly. There's no ground feel here. It's extremely cushioned. It's not the most comfort-oriented platform. It's very aggressive at those race paces. It feels fast, but it also feels isolating. I'm not touching the ground at all, which if I'm running 100 miles a week, and the last big workout I did in the Alphafly was not this pair, it was the Fire Flames pair, but I came out of the gates with 4 miles in the 520s. I think something like 529, 522, 524, 523. So that is a stressful workout on the body. And the Alphafly, unlike the other aggressive shoes in the category, Rocket X2, which I tested yesterday, Sky Paris, this has more cushion, and it's not a comfortable shoe. It's not, where's my other one? She's got all these shoes in the mailbox. It's not a comfortable shoe in the way that the Glycerin Max is, but if you look at how much stack is under the forefoot here in the Glizzy, and then take a look at the Alphafly, just the eye test, it's dang near similar. It is very similar. So this is a protective shoe. That's why I love it for training, and I don't know if I'll ever race in an Alphafly. And somebody told me the other day, you shouldn't worry about what people think. You should just race in the Alphafly. It's not that I'm worried about what people think looking at me racing the Alphafly. I just feel like a jerk whenever I wear the Alphafly. It's one of those things. It feels like driving around in a Range Rover wearing the Alphafly. Wearing the Alphafly to me and showing up to a race wearing it is like saying, I think I'm better than you. I don't know why that is. I don't feel the same way about the Vaporfly. I do feel that way about this shoe. Maybe it's a me problem. I don't know. But for training, I really do think it's the best marathon pace training shoe out there if you are looking to go, I don't know, sub 315, sub 3, any pace that feels to you aggressive, but you're maintaining strong form throughout. Now, so if you're doing your first marathon or you're training for a 4:30 marathon pace might feel more of like a jog to you, or feel closer to your daily pace. As we get faster, marathon pace, again, becomes a higher fraction of our maximal pace and does not feel like a jog. If you look at marathon pace for elites, they're going 4:48. That is nowhere near their daily miles. A lot of them are going 7:10, 7:15 for the everyday miles, occasionally doing some faster runs down at 6:10 to 6:30. So as we get faster, marathon pace gets faster. This is a great shoe because it allows me to hit those faster paces while still having that cushion and that comfort, and it's a really fun shoe. Also great stability. I train here on a very hilly, I'm so hilly, I'm falling down to the side now, very hilly, twisty, turny course, and this handles it extremely well. I don't love running in these narrow platforms out here or any of those super squishy shoes like the Marshmallow shoes, like the Adios Pro 4 and the Endorphin Elite out here, because I'm always turning. It's not like I'm down on the West Side Highway of New York, which is a great place to run, by the way, where it's just a straight line out and back. There are so many turns and hills. This does extremely well on a course like that. So this would be great for Boston if you're going up and down hills, or great for any of those environments where you're navigating the turns. Now, the one issue is it does have this gigantic slit, the Rockcatcher 5000. So you might pick up I pick up the spiky balls. There's no spiky balls because we don't have the spiky ball trees down here, but close to me, there's a lot of spiky balls. If you live in the Carolinas, you know what I'm talking about. They'll get lodged in here. So if you have any gravel roads or spikes, not going to be the best for you. All right. I had to go run back up to deal with something. Left the box down by the street, and it's still there, thankfully. Those are my 5 highest mileage shoes. You can tell I like stability, I like comfort, I like protection. There's a lot of great race shoes and great shoes on the market in general in 2025, which is why it's so exciting and fun to be a shoe reviewer right now. I get to sample everything, and so if you like lower stack shoes, there's lots of good options. If you like higher stack shoes, I happen to be in the higher stack shoe camp, and we do know it is good to vary the different types of shoes we're running in, not just the amount of cushion they have, but the softness, the firmness, the drop. And so you can see here, a lot of my highest mileage shoes were more moderate drop, max stack shoes. But if you look at the entirety of my mileage, the miles I put on these compared to everything else, probably only 20% of the total miles that I've run were in these shoes and these types of shoes versus all the broad array of shoes out there. So that's why it's good to have a rotation. You don't need a 130 shoe rotation like I have. That's not a rotation, that's a business. But you don't need to have 130 shoes, but 2 or 3 shoes, or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. A few good shoes that you're comfortable in running in will make I was gonna say will make you happy, but only you can determine your happiness. All right, that's all I have for you today on the shoes. Let me know. This is my question for y'all today. This is your opportunity. Let me know what else you want to see on the channel. What more do you want to see on the channel? Do you want me to be talking more about training? Do you want me to be talking more about basketball? Do you want me to be talking? No, I'm not going to talk. What more running topics do you want to see on the channel? We also do have the podcast feed. People don't even know about it, and I want to do a better job of putting more podcast format content out there too. So let me know what other podcast type or just discussion topics you'd like me to discuss here on the channel. All right, that's all I have for you today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video.